obligation do you owe your parents? I believe that we choose our parents before we come to Earth, and that we have specific missions here, and things that we want to learn. Earth is a school, as you know. So, contemplating, should I call my mother? Should I call my father? Now, do you feel guilty? Do you feel bad when you think of that? Or do you feel excited? Well, I don't want to regret it if they die, when they die. But they treated you horribly. But every time you've tried to go and talk to them, they've degraded you. Their friends degrade you, their church degrades you, those around them degrade you, they put down your life, you have nothing in common with them. Well, they're my parent and I owe them a duty. Who will take care of them? And these are guilt and shame issues even in the modern world, right? When there's so many others to take care of them. Oftentimes we have a parent that has an entire church behind him, a church that has excluded you and abused you. But then when a parent dies, they want you to come in and take care of everything. They want you to pay for everything. And they still want to guilt you and shame you. Well, can you not attend the funeral? Can you not deal with it? What are your duties and obligations? What are your legal obligations? What are your moral obligations? Can you just step off the line? Well, in this modern world, you can just step off the line. You don't owe any duty to people that abuse you. It is rules of man and society and guilt and shame that tells you you have this duty. So when you wake up in the morning, as I've done quite a few times over the last 10 years, and especially the last 5 years, I went no contact with my mom. My dad that raised me died in 2018, and they pressured me to deal with his estate. He was abusive to me. At the same time, the local police wouldn't let me deal with it. But they wanted me to pay for everything. I had already went no contact with him years prior because he was very abusive to me. Now, I went in many, many times and tried to be his friend, tried to give him things, buy him things, and, I don't know, was I looking for approval or love, or I felt a sense of duty. I'd sit there in a room full of toxic smoke that I didn't like, with a loud, blaring television that playing some racing or something that I didn't like, just to show my love. I'd bring him movies, I'd do things that he liked to show him love. I would sit in misery. I would let him put down my life, my lifestyle, my relatives that I loved, and I would sit in that and be kind to him out of my duty. And I come to learn that I have no duty. You have no duty to your parent. You have no duty to anyone that abuses you. You're a grown-up. You don't have to have them in your life. Great. If your parent's your friend and you like them and you want to take care of them, do it. But if you're taking care of them out of guilt or shame or obligation, why? You think you're going to get some kudos in some imaginary heaven? You think you're going to feel better about you? It's all a trauma wound. So when you wake up in the morning and you're like, well, I should call my mother because, she's probably going to die soon. I don't want to regret it, right? So you feel sad and down and obligated, guilt and shame. I should call my mom to make sure that she's okay. Well, she's not okay. And odds are she's got some health thing going on, right? And if your parents are Jehovah's Witness like mine, she already turned her health duties over to the church 20 years ago. You have no say, you have no power. So what is the duty? What is the obligation? Well, because I love my mommy. Love? That's like domestic violence love. That's abuser love. That's the Stockholm Syndrome, right? Someone who verbally abused you, possibly sexually abused you, possibly physically abused you. And you feel some sort of an obligation to them. Why? Because they let you believe that was love. Now, when our parents abuse us as children, say verbally, should should we forgive them as adults? Or should we hold that against them their entire life? Well, I believe that I chose my lessons. I come here to earth. And so I was all ready to move on to adulthood with an adult version of my mother. My mother felt extremely guilty for how she treated me as a child. Instead of saying one thing that she did to me, I was raised an only child. Turned out I wasn't. Long story. But she put all of her emotions on me. She was 20 when she had me. So she was very young, right? So she's kind of growing with me. She was abusive to me. I'm an adult. I'm like, okay, well, let's be adults together. So she found Jehovah through Jehovah's Witnesses, and she apologized to me for everything she did when I was a child. Like that. Just one big blanket thing. If she'd have picked one thing, it would have meaned more. Right? One action that she did to me, but she didn't. Okay, right? I chose my reality. I'm okay with this. It's good. If the parent stops being that person, if they continue to play mind games, continue to throw fits, continue to abuse you, continue to manipulate you emotionally, put down your life, put down your lifestyle, constant digs, constantly making you feel that you're responsible for them. And no one can make you feel anything, but if you're around them and you feel like you need to take care of them, well, who's taking care of you? So not only did you take care of that parent as a child, you're taking care of them as an adult, because that's what you were trained to do. That's a neuron, a nerve pattern, right? Part of you thinks it's love, but it doesn't feel good. So when you wake up and you go, maybe after all these years I should connect with my mom. Maybe I should let my mom know I love her, and her only child out there loves her and thinks of her. Maybe I should give her that. So then Spirit says, does it feel exciting? Well, no, Spirit. I feel guilty. I feel shameful. I'm doing it out of guilt and obligation and shame. Well, then why are you doing it? Do you have a need and a fix for abuse? Because your mother isn't doing that in your life now and you've removed her, do you feel the need to do that to yourself? Spirit's like, well, if you contact your mother, how does that feel? How does it feel saying, I love you, and are you okay? And you know that you don't really love her, and it's not really okay, and it's all fake and phony. And the bottom line is, if you're doing it out of a feeling that's ew, yeah, I should call her, I should email her, that's not your highest excitement. That's not your higher self telling you that's the way to go. That's your higher self telling you no. That's your inner child saying, hey, grown up you. Walk into that room. Walk into that living room. Walk into that bedroom where that nasty thing was happening when you were a child. And say, no. No, Mom. You cannot do that to the child. And you're that child. That child still lives in you. So when you're like feeling that obligation and duty to take care of your parent, that's still verbally, physically abusive to you, putting down your life, your lifestyle in every way, but you're like, well, they got nobody. Even if they got an entire church, well, they only got one kid, right? So you're the one abusing you. You're the one that's choosing deliberately, willfully, to neglect that child, to abuse that child, to let that adult in the room abuse that child, which is you. So, I should call my mom and tell her I love her. I'm thinking of her. She matters to me. Thanks for the good times. Meanwhile, you might have permanent PTSD. You might have permanent anxiety from domestic violence, from screaming, from verbal abuse, from sexual abuse, from your own mother. But you're like, well, you know, she's my mom, blood's thicker than water, blah, 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 all the things that they tell you. But your spirit guides, your higher self communicates with you based on the feeling in your body. If it feels icky, and it feels ooey, and you feel shameful and guilty, and I should, and I ought to, and I have to, that's not love. Well, you know, I'll just do this and it'll fake love. Okay. But you're the one that's now the adult in your life that's abusing you. and abusing that child, which is you. You're the one doing it. You're not obligated to your parent. You're not obligated to take care of them if they're sick. Whatever life choices they made, all disease is based on an emotion. All disease is curable. Whatever they've done in their lives to create their own health is theirs. It's not yours. Which, of course, if you love your parent and you're close to them, you enjoy that and you enjoy being there for them on that. And they're kind to you. But if they're not, why are you abusing you? Well, if your parent's sick, I don't want to put them in a home. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Well, you're a grown-up and you can live your life. The system can take care of them. The church can take care of them. You jump in, you don't have to take care of them. You're choosing to take care of them. You're choosing to martyr yourself because that makes you feel like a better person. Well, I did good by my parents. Right. You're enabling abuse to yourself. You've stepped out of yourself and become the person that's abusing the child by letting that person come back into their life. And you see the videos on TikTok of the mothers that have no contact with their children because their children requested it. And they're very upset, right? They want to be in their child's life. The thing is that if you obsessively want to be in your child's life and they don't want you in your life, then that's a sign that you need to get a life. Some women make their children their whole life. I learned that in being in a 16-year relationship and then, from a really young age. And then when I started dating again in my 40s, I dated women that had adult children. And I was stunned. Their adult children were in their life. Where they lived, what they did, who they could date, disapproved of them if they were gay, had an opinion on everything in their life. The adult children controlled the parent, or the parent controls the adult children with guilt, shame. I want to be near the kids, which can be great. If the parent lives in town, you want to take them over there, everything's healthy, that's great. My mother used to, my cousin's children, when she'd get them alone, she'd preach to them. And she'd read the Bible to them without the parents' permission. I always knew that I would never have my children around my mother. And I always planned to have children, which I didn't. But I knew that I wanted to heal in me what my mother had put on me before I had children. I'm near 55 now, and I'm almost there. And I'm way past the time of having children. My mother would often tell me, you and your father would be better off if I was dead. She put her emotion and her life's everything onto me. My mother emotionally abused me. And yes, females sexually abuse their children. My mother sexually abused me. Odd. People don't recognize that. It happens in the world. My household was always sexually inappropriate, and it became a language. There was always verbal abuse, and there was always physical abuse. My mother would beat on my dad all the time. My dad wouldn't hit back. Years into it, my dad would start to throw fits and he'd break stuff. They would both break things and I would clean it all up while they went and made up in the bedroom. And that was my life. Now, when I'm an adult, if they've changed, I rescued my mom from the marriage. I started making quite a bit of money in my early 20s with a real estate company. I took care of them both financially, emotionally. I got my mom a place to live. Okay, me and my partner took care of her teeth, her health. She had cancer. We helped her with alternative healing, healed her of cancer. I gave and gave and gave to my mother. She never did approve of me. She never did unconditionally love me. I'd get my hair cut short, she would make fun of me. Then next thing you know, she would. She'd make fun of my hair color. Then she'd dye her hair the same color. She, as a Jehovah's Witness, she'd be out in service and she'd pop into my house and use the bathroom, and she would criticize if there was anything new age or spiritual. She'd pop in and use the bathroom, but she wouldn't bring anyone else in. And sometimes if she ever seen a car there that she didn't know that wasn't me or my partner, she wouldn't stop. Because they're all gay, right? They weren't. So this continued into adulthood. But yet, I'm to take care of my mother because she's sick. I'm to take care of my mother because I'm her only child. I'm to take care of my mother because the system says, well, you're responsible for her financially and everywhere. No, I'm not. And neither are you. So when you wake up and you go, should I take that call from my father? Should I take that call from my mother? If it feels sick in your body, it's because they abused you. And when you answer that text and you answer that call, because you want to relieve that pain inside of you for just a moment, like some sort of a fix, like any drug. Oh, hello. Oh, it's okay. You calm that energy. My final break with my mother in 2020 was that. I had texted her. I would text her on and off. She'd take weeks to get back to me. No big deal. I didn't care. I'd ask her a question, whatever, we'd communicate, whatever. But when she messaged me, I was near 50 years old by then. I better be there right now answering her. She's going to keep doing it over and over and over. Now that would trigger me and traumatize me and send me into a panic attack, even at the age of 50. But at the age of 50, I lived in a car for quite a few years. And I'd come to know myself on a whole other level. And I was laying there in a car near freezing to death, right? And no food and no money. And I got my mom still at me, right? And any money that I had from my past, I routed to her, right? Like a co-op from an electric company or a phone company. These little bits of money every month, I could have ate on. I had already turned over to her because of my obligation and duty to make her life better. So she messaged me, and I realized my body tension, and I realized my fear, and I decided in that moment, took me till 50, I hope you do it a lot sooner. And I said, I don't want any contact with you ever for any reason. I had already had a ceremonial death myself. I already went to Glacier Park one day, like McDonald with my mom, asked her a few questions, kind of went through this energy thing myself. It was a weird day. She doesn't approve of my lifestyle. She's all like, but I had let go. But I still let it linger for the next decade. I still let her come in and disapprove of my life, or my hair, or who I loved, or who I was, or my so-called Reverend, or my so-called lesbian life, or when I'm going to come to Jesus. And I went to a neighboring town with her one time, and she said, do you think you're a good person? And I said, yeah. I listed out all these incredible things I was doing locally. I'm on a real estate company, and I'm helping people, all the stuff I'm doing. She's like, well, you're not a good person until you find God, till you accept Jesus in your heart. She has no idea who Jesus is, right? She was not Christ-like. Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't know if you have experience with them, but I don't want to get too much into that. But she was not altruistic. All sin is equal, right? My uncle molested his children for decades, right? Then 10 years passed, and his wife's sisters died, and they inherited their children. He molested them. That's all cool. 30, 40 years of molesting kids, that's all cool. As long as you go, Jehovah, I found you, forgive me, all is forgiven, right? But me, loving a woman is equal to that, according to their religion. I disagree. So no, I'm not obligated to my mother. And you're not obligated to your mother. And you're not obligated to your father. If you choose to bring them into your life, that's your choice. If you choose to answer that text when you feel sick in your body, if you choose to answer because they text over and over and over and call over and over, that's you. You're the one saying that's okay. You're the one saying it's okay to abuse you like they did when you were a child. You're the one doing it by answering the text, by letting them have access to you. And even when you go no contact, it lives in your body, it lives in your cells, it comes up and up and up because it's a muscle memory. And you have to change it and change it. And I've got clearer and clearer and clearer over the last 5 years. However, this morning I woke up. I used to say my mother and I had this umbilical cord connection, right? Intuition. She's a witch, she just doesn't know it, So I can feel things sometimes. I know there's an unconditional love in my mother from me as a baby. And so she'd always, for decades, just talk about the baby me and how much she loved the baby me, right? Like she held that in time. Her house is filled with pictures of me right? Some version of me that she has in her mind that doesn't exist in my reality. And so, I've lost my train of thought, but you are not obligated to have your parent in your life if they're abusive to you. And you convince yourself, well, it's not really abuse, they just want some attention, they just want to know they're loved. But what about that undertone? What about that feeling in your body, that sickness you feel? You're betraying yourself, you're abusing yourself when you answer them just to make it stop, just to make the pain stop, to make them go away. And even after I went no contact and it lived in my body, it would come up, it'd come up, it'd come up. And I would have to look at it and go through it over and over and over. But in order to healing, the past started dissolving year after year, day after day, when I didn't have it. It's like you can't heal from a poison if you don't stop taking the poison. You can't go into your past and heal those traumas and have better relationships today if you still have that parent in your life. And then you project that onto your children, whether you know it or not. And you let your children know because they feel you. They watch you with those texts. They watch your energy. They watch you answering the message to your abusive father or your abusive mother when you don't want to. And you teach your child to do that in their relationships with everyone in their life. And that becomes the version of love. And you bring that into your intimate relationships. And then perhaps you do that to them. Okay, answer me, answer me, answer me. Well, two people have two lives. Independent. Live them. If you're so codependent that you need someone to answer you right away, that you feel okay about you, that comes from childhood abuse like we're talking about. So when you wake up in the morning and you're like, I should call my dad or I should call my mom to let them know I love them, who loves you? Who loves you? Do you love you? You're the one that's choosing to abuse yourself by remaining in contact with a parent, a person, a lover, an adult child, where you feel sick in your body and you're only texting them back or calling them back so you feel okay in that moment. It's like a drug. You know they're abusive. You know everything about their diet, their lifestyle, their choices, the way they communicate with you, the way they're not in your life at all, the way they don't approve of anything in your life. But they'll sure be there for a handout, right, if they need money. You know who they are. Wouldn't choose them as a friend right now. But you feel obligation and duty and guilt and shame. That is trauma. That is not love. That is you continuing to abuse you. So, Spirit, should I call my mother this morning? I feel this love. Well, perhaps she thought of me. Perhaps she thought of that baby that she loved this morning. And perhaps I felt that love. And that love exists. But that's not who she is. And that's not who she brings to me. Well, maybe she's changed. She hasn't. I know she hasn't. Spirit said, well, look at it this way. Does your body feel excited to call your mother? Or do you feel sick? I felt sick. I felt shame and guilt and obligation. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, Mom, how you doing? She don't care about my life. She don't care about what I'm interested in. She'll call from her home, her very decent income. She's got my father's Social Security now. She's got all the money that from the different utility companies that I've put to her. She's got her own money coming in. And I'm living in a car with $0, right? And she puts all of her stuff onto me. No, thank you. Well, in 2020, I was still living in a car. And I was starting to get unemployment because I'd worked a local job. And that COVID money come in. I'm starting to find survival on my own. And she's coming in and she's wanting me to give her attention the second she messages me. I'm working on a project. Bing, 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 bing. She keeps coming in. I didn't want that to ever happen again. So I went no contact. Hurt like hell. It still hurts now and then. But now it only hurts about once a year. And that was this morning. It was this love. Oh, love. And then it felt icky. And then I started to go, well, maybe I should contact my mother. And I started processing, should I call my mother? Is this highest and best for me? And Spirit come in and said, does it feel good? Well, no, but does it feel icky in your body? Yeah. Is it something you feel like you should do or have to do? Or something you want to do? Well, I don't want to do it. I don't want to feel her. I don't want to hear her. I don't want to hear about my lifestyle or her lifestyle. I don't want to know how she's doing. I don't want to know about her health. I don't want to know about her God. I don't want to know about anything. She has access to me via email. She could email me anytime. I don't need to then again put myself on the tracks for the mommy train. So when you sit there and you say, should I answer that text even if it's like 10 times? It's an emergency, it's an emergency. Well, they can call 911. They can call their friends. They can call the system. My dad was a vet. He had lots of resources. When they call you, especially, when you live way far away from them, for their emergency, it's because they're having an emotional crisis emergency and they want to hit. And their hit is to abuse that child and you, no matter what age you are. And you let them when you respond and when you let them keep doing that to you. So I decided this morning, no, I'm not. And it hurts like hell. It really does hurt like hell to go no. And it hurts like hell to love myself more than my mother. And it hurts like hell to say, you know what? Yes, I feel obligated. I feel duty. I feel shame. I feel guilt. But I don't feel good at the thought of contacting them. And my higher self communicates with me with that exciting, good feeling. It is not of my highest and best to contact my mother if it doesn't feel good in my body. Your higher self communicates with you by what feels good in your body. If it doesn't feel good, cut them out of your life. And if you don't, that's on you. You're in charge of your life. You don't have parents anymore. You don't have an authority figure. Now, that monkey mind of yours is the authority figure, is the abuser. Every time you answer them, when it's not excited, when it's obligation, when it's duty. Every time you're like, well, I got to take care of them. No one else can take care of them. Yeah, there's a whole world out there that can take care of them. If you feel like you need to take care of them, that's because you're running away from your own trauma, your own triggers. You're not facing your own shadow work. You're not looking at your own issues. And until you clear those, you'll never have peace of mind. You'll never have a peaceful relationship. And it may take your whole life to do it. It has mine. And in my situation, I was an only child. And my stepfather who raised me wasn't blood, and he resented me. My mother put all of her emotions on me all the time. Her sex life, her drama, her stress, all of it on me. And I was that person in her life. And so I didn't have other children to work off of or anything, so it's taken me my whole entire life to work through this. So to wake up this morning and feel that love of my mother, and I did. I felt that love. But it doesn't exist in this reality. And that love that maybe my mother sent me this morning, and maybe I felt it spiritually and psychically, was the love that a mother has for her baby that's unconditional. But she's not that person in my life to me right now. And I get to choose whether I let her abuse me or not. And I get to choose whether I abuse myself or not by giving her access to me. I hope you will choose you. But that's up to you.